Hi, you guys. Thank you for tapping in on this Mood Monday. We are live. Um, I am Tamasha. I am your coach of truth. And what that means is I help you activate your holistic awareness, step into alignment, and become accountable so that you can manifest as your authentic self. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you are one of my supporters, I appreciate you. I always enjoy you guys just coming and tapping in to hear me speak my heart. As you know, I've been given the challenge, along with my fellow life coach sisters, my tribe, to go live every weekday of December. And so I believe we're only on like week 2 or week 3 almost. It's the third week of December. I don't know. But I'm here and I will be here for the remainder of the month. And so I just appreciate you guys chiming in. Today is Mood Monday. I am beginning to like this day because it's a fresh start and it allows me to just kind of share with you what's been on my heart and what I've had a chance to reflect on this past weekend. So I'm going to pull out my little notes to keep me on track. And I appreciate all the comments in the comment section down below. Oh, before I forget, please visit my website, truthofjuly.com. I am your oil of oregano queen. I have my little focus on, so you probably can't see it, but this is a preventative for your immune system. It's an immune system booster. Oil of oregano is an essential oil, and it is perfect for the upper respiratory infections, any type of coughs, or anything going on with your upper respiratory system. This is a preventative to keep it healthy, especially during times like this. So please visit my website, truthofjuly.com, and please join my Facebook group, Truth with Solutions, because at the end of the day, that's all I'm here to share with you is truth and solutions. So I'm just going to jump right in. I wanted to just talk about connections, friendships, relationships, mostly relationships, but every type of connection is a kinship of some sort, whether it's with family or with a significant other. They are all tied in with our life and the decisions that we make, and just how we proceed daily, right? And I just wanted to talk about how every connection is serving a purpose. Every connection serves a purpose, and it is designed for a specific outcome. You may not like the outcome, but every time you interact with someone, especially on a deeper level, I am a total believer that it was all designed by God. Everyone that comes into your life, everyone that you were born with. So even your siblings, your cousins, your aunts and uncles, it was all by design. And I think sometimes we forget that our lineage creates, continuous offspring. We are just reproductions. We are copies of copies of copies. And so the things that we do in life, the way that our spirit and our soul is as a result of those before us. So I ask that you do not take any of your connections lightly, but more so just become aware of them, even when in times they aren't that favorable, okay? Um, and sometimes during these connections, we are afraid of what will happen next. For instance, in a relationship, I have several friends who were married and that have been divorced. I have friends who separated from their spouse and ended up getting back together. I also have friends who have been in long term relationships, not under contract, that are thriving, that are doing quite well in their relationship, right? And what I've noticed, especially up and down my timeline with both men and women, is that when it's time to let go, or when it is time to be an individual in a relationship, that tends to cause some confusion, a little riffraff. Because when we're in relationships with people, we're still our individual selves. We're still the person. I'm still Tamasha, right? And so, what happens when you're in a relationship and now it's complete? Because let's just be honest, not everything is designed for forever. Not everything is until death do you part, right? We sometimes rather accept what feels good for the moment instead of allowing ourselves to shift into what may seem uncomfortable. A lot of people are staying in relationships, toxic and not, but because they don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. A lot of us are staying in relationships knowing that that's not what you want, knowing that you want more, but you're afraid to initiate letting go. My guilty pleasure is reality TV. So, one of my favorite shows right now is Put a Ring on It. And during that show, if you guys don't know anything about it, but during that show, they bring on couples who want to get married. One or the other wants to get married, and the other one does not necessarily want to, but they're wondering if they should. Should they make this last forever? Should they actually tie the knot? And so, what they do is they go out on dates with other people to see if they are able to make connections with other people and what that does to them in their current relationship. And one of the couples that are on there, they've been together 9, 10 years. And I guess when she was ready to get married, he was not ready, but now he is ready to get married, but she is not. And I think that that's more common than we like to let up. I feel like if you are not aligned in your relationship, there will always come a point where somebody wants something that the other person doesn't necessarily want. That should not cause for a beef. That should not cause for turmoil or chaos to break out. But that is a moment in the relationship where it causes for some self-reflection, right? Because sometimes we rather accept what feels good for the moment instead of allowing ourselves to shift into what may seem uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to think that your man may not want to be with you anymore. Has nothing to do with the fact that you cook, you clean, you raise the kids, you know, everything's going great. It has nothing to do with that. We're all individuals that go through inevitable change within, and sometimes that will affect our partner. And it can be positive or it can be negative. But I know for a fact that in a lot of cases, there are always somebody that is going to get the short end of the stick. If you are on the receiving end of getting that short end of the stick, there are moments and there are times where you have to do self reflections on yourself and become aligned and see the bigger picture. Because at the end of the day, we're afraid to let go of things that even still work because of the fear behind it. And what happens is that fear promotes failure. So you stay in these relationships that might be working out great or not, but you stay in them because you're afraid of failing without that person. I hear a lot of people say, I've invested a lot of time. I've put a lot of time into this. But really, what is time? And who's to say that that time or that time frame is not complete? And when it is complete, why does it have to be hectic? Why does it have to end in a heartbreak? Because at the end of the day, we are not broken. We're not broken. We don't get broken. We're just resistant to the unknown. And so when we deliberately hang on to these relationships, despite of what's going on in our individual selves, we tend to think of what the outside world is going to think. especially if you were one who's gotten proposed to publicly. You've made him your man crush Monday, or you've made her your woman crush Wednesday for weeks and months and years at a time, and now it has come to an end. Or it has come to deliberation where maybe it's time for it to end. Maybe there's more that you want that is no longer present in your current situation. Is that wrong? Is that incorrect to want it to be over? It's just like with jobs. You sign up for that job, you went into that interview, and you told those people you were giving them 5 years, where you see yourself in 5 years. You want to grow with the company, you want to become a lead, you want to become a manager. And by year 2, you realize that you want more. You realize that there's just something else that is out there for me. You signed a contract. You signed a contract to show up. You also signed a contract to give them 2 weeks. But you committed to that position. Why is it that when we commit to relationships, especially if you get married and you go through a shift in your individual lives, your personal lives, and now suddenly you're bound to not make a decision to move on, whether it be to be single or to be with someone else? Says who? Sometimes we get confused with tradition and dogmatic beliefs, and that compromises our growth as an individual person when we get into relationships with other people. And the fact of the matter is, you don't get to control somebody else. You don't get to control somebody else's growth and what they go through and what they feel, and when they begin to make decisions that are best for them. You cannot allow the fact that you've given yourself to someone and had this amazing time to feel like your world is over if the relationship is complete. Because let's go back again. Everyone serves a purpose. Every person that you are in a relationship, everyone is a soulmate. Everyone is there to have some type of transition on your spirit, on your soul, and love you for a period of time. You just don't get to determine if that's going to be 5 years or 25 years. And when you begin to make a decision to go past a time frame in which is longer than what you would like, that's when the relationship can turn toxic. Love and good intentions exceed contracts and terms and conditions. Like I said, just with a job, it's the same thing with a relationship. You may have had amazing love for your position. You may have had amazing love for your spouse, for your significant other. But as you grow and you start to go through changes and you start to say, you know what, I really love this person, but there's something else that I want. Why should you be afraid to walk away? And if you are the one on the receiving end of that information, who are you to say that they can't? Because of your feelings? I mean, I get it. We all have plans. Nobody wants to play games. But if we're being absolutely 100% in totality, if we're being 100% authentic about life and the way that things work, then we know that change is inevitable in all aspects. I think that it's important that we stop resisting change to feed the false advertisement of your imposter. Because we really don't like what it might look like if it's over, but we know that if we suppress it and we don't give attention to what it is now, especially when somebody wants to walk away, what it can do to you. Using jobs, for examples. You might stay with that job because it's paying you $19, $20+ an hour, but you're stressed. You are going through it. It is taking a toll on your health. And it's only so long that you're going to stay in that position for that paycheck. Because at the end of the day, there's a fire burning inside of you that tells you that your purpose is more. We disregard that when it comes to our relationships. We disregard that when it comes to marriages and when we sign contracts and think that once you go down to this church, once you put this ring on my finger, that's it and that's all. That's not fair. It's not even logical. And we need to stop being afraid of letting go. We need to stop being afraid of experiences in relationships that may not last for as long as we thought that they would. What is forever anyway? Forever is the experience that you have, that you will take with you, that will always resonate with you. That's the forever part. The forever part is never about time. It's about what you got out of that situation for that time period. And that's it. We must remember that we cannot control people. We can only control our individual selves. And not every situation has to be toxic. Not every situation has to end in a beef. Not every relationship has to end where court is involved, police get involved. We're just people. We're just people. And give yourself more credit than to think that you would fail if you and that person are no longer together. Right? That is definitely something to reflect on. And like I said, this isn't geared towards men versus women or vice versa. I see it up and down my timeline. I see men stuck in situations that they no longer want to be in with women who they've married and have kids with and has proposed to. And I see women as well that are stuck in situations that no longer serve them. When you are the one that need to initiate the change, you must go for it. Because when you stay in a situation that is no longer serving either party, then you'll begin to resent each other. That's when it goes bad. That's when it goes rotten. And just remember, separating from someone does not mean that it is always the end all be all. You know, people say, once you're in my life, I'm not going backwards. I'm not going back. But when love is the intention, when the frequency is love and you do come back together, that's just what the design is. And if it is meant to start a new foundation and build something solid somewhere else, elsewhere, then that's just the design of it. But we must stop trying to think that we have control over somebody else when they are growing and they don't grow in the direction that we thought that they should be growing in. Right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you on this Mood Monday. I appreciate you guys chiming in, listening to my heart. Please leave your comments below. Like I said, join my Facebook group, Truth with Solutions. Check me out tomorrow for Transformational Tuesdays, and that is my time. Peace.